Thanks for being here. We'll begin with a statement from Coach, and we'll take questions.
Yeah, I mean, needless to say, it's a dejected locker room on our side. Thought we played really hard, give Rutgers credit. There's two teams that have been struggling, trying to find a win. You could see that in the intensity of both teams. I'm just disappointed that we couldn't finish the deal, right? We had the ball there, 10 seconds, regulation, 1-point lead. We weren't able to take care of the ball. And then, we got Francis to miss. Took a tough shot on the baseline, he missed, and weren't able to come up with a loose ball. And, Buchanan made a big free throw there. So then overtime, I thought missed free throws really shot us in the foot. I think we missed 4, if not more, in the overtime. And when you're going possession by possession like that, it just makes it tough. And I thought we had a couple kind of silly fouls there, when you got to make guys step up and make a big shot. But, that's part of it. I can't fault our guys' effort. We played really hard. We were worthy of winning in a lot of ways. We just, just a really difficult loss.
We'll go to questions. Matt?
Coach, there was 14 points from your starters outside of Nick. How do you find supporting scoring for him from that group?
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying. We're staying confident with those guys, and we want them to continue to be confident. They're all kind of trying to find their way. Not shooting the ball very well, and we got to continue to try to support him the best we can. I thought some guys off the bench came in. I thought Jake played really well. Obviously, AP coming in, giving us 14 off the bench. But yeah, to your point, especially our wings, right? I mean, we gotta find a way to kind of. I gotta help those guys and try to find a way we can get a little bit more production, take a little bit off of Nick's plate.
Speaking of Jake, he had career high 3 threes. What did it mean to see him have that good performance? And what do you start to see from some of the freshmen like him or Tyler? I know Tyler hasn't played as much recently, but just what have you seen from those two?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big learning experience, right? When you come into the Big Ten and you're a freshman, especially in today's day and age of college basketball, there's so many old teams and older players. So there's good and bad. And these are great opportunities for those guys, for Jake to play the extended minutes that he did tonight and have the ball in his hands. And even on the last play, I was proud of him. He got to the rim. The kid from Rutgers, I'm sorry, I don't know who blocked it. I know one of their guys came over and made a hell of a block. I don't want to disregard who it was, but came over and made a huge block there to win the game. And but I was proud of Jake for getting to the basket and getting a good shot. And hopefully games like this will continue to be a conference builder as we move forward.
After his start against Michigan State, was there any thought of going to Tyler in this game?
Yes. I mean, it was. And I just thought how the game was going. AP came in and really had it going there for a while, and kind of the way the matchups were. But yes, I got to find some minutes for him. Going forward, he gave us some good minutes against Michigan State, and I got to find a way to get him in there a little bit more.
Tariq Francis seemed to be their go-to guy offensively. He took most of their shots. Just what was the goal in defending him, and how do you guys think you did defend him?
Yeah, I mean, you want to. He's a great one-on-one player, so you want to try to give gap help. He got some layups, which those were the ones that really kill me. If he hits those little step back pull-ups, sometimes that's you got to live with that. He's quick. He can get to his shot. The ones that got me were the ones where, we kind of opened our feet and let him get downhill. He got a big layup late, and then he got a huge three-point play, in the overtime, when we let him, get down the seam there and get an M1. So he's a terrific scorer. He's been playing great for them, scoring a lot of points. He's a tough cover because he's one of these guys, even if he's being guarded, he can make tough ones. I thought we put him on the line a little bit too much. A guy like that, you got to make him take tough pull-ups, and if he makes them, you got to tip the cap. But I got to see how many free throws he took. He got 9 free throws, which you can't really let that happen.
One more. I'm sorry. Is it my turn? Thank you. Chris, I'm sure you watched a lot of tape. What do you think of this Rutgers team and how they've improved from early in the season to now?
Yeah, they're playing really hard. You know, I'm a huge fan of Steve. Everybody knows that. He's one of my favorite guys and favorite coaches. You know, his teams are going to get better as the season goes along. You know, they're going to fight. They're going to play defense. They're going to be physical. They're going to attack the glass. You know, those are all trademarks of what his teams do. And, you know, you feel like some of these young guys are coming of age, you know, right? You see Powers, his talent. He's going to be a terrific player. You know, Buchanan's starting to find his rhythm a little bit, then put the ball in the basket. You know, Francis obviously has been a terrific scorer for them, and they got some good young pieces. So they're going to keep getting better. You know, they're going to be one of these teams, especially here. You know, it's tough to come into this building and play them because you know what you're going to have to face.
Coach KJ Wyndham got his first action after 3 games on the bench. What do you see as the difference in him as a player between last year at the end stretch when he was so central to what the team was doing and now when he struggled to find a spot in the
he came off the
rotation?
bench last year, and he had some good games at the end of the year, and he struggled, and we're trying to help him fight through it and kind of find his way again and practice hard. The thing I've told him is string some practices together and give yourself an opportunity to come in and help the team. So, you know, we're going to stick with him. We're going to keep working with him. You know, hopefully get his confidence. He's lost some confidence and obviously fallen out of the rotation a little bit tonight. I thought this was a matchup where he could play a little bit, so we gave him an opportunity to get out there and play, and hopefully we can get more out of him going forward because there's no question, you know, he has the talent to be able to come in and help us on the perimeter.
Time for a couple more questions. Anybody else? Okay, that'll wrap us up.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Chris.